Hello and welcome to Solemate Runners, the podcast. I'm Paul Bettridge.
And I'm Aimee Tippins. We're a middle-aged couple who like to run ultras together.
So we decided to start a podcast about our experiences in the ultra running world.
Especially as we're embarking on an adventure, taking on our biggest race yet at the end of this year.
And that race is the Winter Downs 200, a 200-mile ultra marathon in December.
So whatever you're doing, we hope you enjoy us waffling on for an hour or so.
Waffling on? I don't waffle on. I'm a professional. Enjoy. Thank you for joining us here in the not running room. We are in the shed.
No, the railway carriage.
The railway carriage in Wales. We are on location, aren't we? We're on location. And we've had a few technical issues, haven't we?
Well, we basically recorded the entire episode, or so we thought, and then went out, used a hot tub, came back in, looked at the camera, and realised it hadn't actually saved it.
It's, yeah.
So,
the joys,
recording it.
The joys of doing podcasts. We thought we'd be good at it by now. Right, let's get to business. This is episode
3.
May 2025. But
Recorded in April.
Recorded in April because as we are coming from your location, we are in Wales and we are... Where are we?
We're near Cowbridge, which is not far from the coastal town of Ogmore by Sea.
Yes.
And the reason we picked this location is it's close to the finish of the race that we did yesterday.
And that race was?
The Vale Coastal Ultra, run by Run Walk Crawl, which is a 32 miler.
Yeah, yeah. And it went really, really, really well.
It did.
For somebody.
You did well too.
Not really, really, really well. So, we will tell you that someone done really well. Where did you come? Come on.
I was second female.
Sorry?
Second female.
Second female.
I'm still in shock.
I didn't want to come second female, so yeah. It's all about taking part for me. Right, so how did we get here? So we have done this race before.
Yes, we did it 2 years ago in April 2023.
Yep.
It was our second ever ultra.
Yeah, it was indeed. We thought we were good then, didn't we?
Oh, we were very much learning.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, it was our second ever ultra we did. Why did we end up doing that one then?
We picked it because you wanted an ultra near your birthday.
Ah,
And 2 years ago, the Vale Coastal Ultra fell just 2 days away from his birthday. So that's why we booked it.
So it'd probably be my birthday around recording this then?
No.
Recording it? Not airing it, recording it.
Yeah, but your birthday's still...
It's still... I have a birth month.
Is it a couple of weeks?
Birth month. I don't have a birthday. I have a birth month. So I celebrate all the time. So yes, it's my birthday.
He's probably going to mention that a million times during this recording.
I'd forgot about it until you said.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it was our second ever ultra.
Yeah.
It went reasonably well.
We did okay on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have any specific issues.
No?
Like you didn't bonk, for example, like you did on your first ever ultra. Which was also a run, walk, crawl race that we did in February 2023.
Bring that back up.
That was a 44 miler.
44 miler, yeah.
So yeah, our second ultra was a smaller one, but
It was.
But we picked it purely because of the date.
It was a date, and I think probably secretly I probably was like, well, we did a 44.
We can definitely do a 32.
That was a bit of a mission.
But it was actually 34, wasn't it, nearly?
Yeah.
The mileage 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we knew it was going to be a bit longer probably this year.
I probably did think, right, shall we just like go back in that Swisker before we go for the 100? So
back.
yeah, let's try and do a 30 odd and see. So we did it a few years ago, and yeah, we completed it. We thought at the time was a reasonable time, which was about 7 hours.
7 hours, 6 minutes, and I want to say 37 seconds.
Yeah, so 7 hours, 6-ish minutes. And then, so this year we decided we were going to do a race, didn't we? Around my birthday.
We wanted to do one in April, yeah.
Around my birthday.
Around his birthday.
Yeah. And then we did think, why not do, because we've come quite a long way since then. We've got the 100s under our belt and bits and bobs. So I think we did think, well, let's do this again and let's have a look at it and let's see what we can do. Whether we can do a better time.
It kind of be a way of showing if we have progressed.
Yeah.
Whether we do it better, whether we find it easier.
And it was a bit of a train. We were kind of very odd, but it was a bit of a training run for bigger races that we're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we booked it, and Aimee booked this lovely
Railway carriage.
So we're in like a quirky little railway carriage.
It's very cute.
It's cute.
You can't really see much of it on the video, but it's...
Well, you can. This is pretty much it.
No,
Yeah.
it isn't. It's got a whole kitchen and a bathroom and a bed over there.
Yeah, and we've got to have the camera at that angle because we just forgot everything.
Yeah, we didn't really bring proper equipment, so we haven't got an extension lead for the camera, and we don't want the battery to run out.
That was one of the reasons why
So
the battery
it's got to
went
be
off.
really close to the plug
Yeah.
socket.
Yeah, but this is like real life, getting it out in the action when we're out on site. So, right, what we do, we'll tell you a bit about the registration, the kit, the checkpoints, the start, the finish. We'll tell you a bit about those bits first, and then we'll tell you how the race went, I think. So we can sort of tell you how it went. A little bit about the run, walk, crawl, this race. I think what we find it's quite good, it's a good starting point for getting into ultras, because there's 3 races, isn't there, on this?
Yeah, a lot of
This
their
one.
races, they do different distances. So what we did yesterday, it's called the Vale Coastal Races. We did the Ultra, which is the 32 miler, but there's also an 18 miler,
That's it.
which some people call the mini Ultra.
Yeah.
And then there's also a 10 mile as well.
Yeah.
So they all finish in the same place, and they're all on the same course. So obviously the 18 milers start halfway from when the 32 milers start, and then the 10 milers just do the last 10 miles, but we all finish in the same place. So yeah.
So it's a good, I think it's a good entry level into, because you've got, it's 32, well, it's advertised as 32.
Officially it's 32.
It's officially, on the paperwork it's 32, but it's 33, 33 and a half, 34.
Everybody had slightly different mileage, but I think nearly everybody had nearer 33 than 32.
It's around the 32 mark, around.
Yeah.
So yeah, not an expensive race either. There is a mandatory kit list, and you're probably thinking, obviously when this airs you will not remember what the weather was like in April, but the weather has been fantastic. Sunny, warm, has been windy.
Yeah.
Has been windy. This was forecast, so I think a lot of people, you get the standard mandatory kit list, and to be honest, it weren't, compared to the likes of the Arc and some of these other races,
No, it's quite a small list.
there weren't a lot on it, to be totally honest with you. I think even I can remember, you've got obviously your waterproofs, your waterproof top, your waterproof bottoms, maybe another, if there was a base layer or a long sleeve.
You had to carry a long sleeve base layer.
Yeah.
There was no specifications about weight or anything like that, but you had to have a long sleeve base layer, and it couldn't be the one that you were wearing at the start.
That was
So it
it.
did have to be an additional base layer.
Yeah. Little mini first aid kit, bivvy
Bivvy
bag.
You had to have a buff or a hat.
Buff or a hat, yeah. Yeah. There was no gloves or anything like that. You had
No.
obviously carry water, your phone, your mobile phone. It wasn't mega. It wasn't mega at all.
No.
And so that, you had to have that. A little bit of, I say, not confusion. I think when we've done races and there's a mandatory kit, you automatically assume that at registration you're going to have to get all your kit out.
It's common for your kit to be checked.
Yeah, it's common
on the
practice,
race
isn't it?
With mandatory kit.
Yeah. So on this one, so the way it works, you register. Ideally, they want you to register on the Friday. I did see a few people registering on the Saturday morning.
Yeah, there was
but
an option to register at the race finish
you had to let them know,
on the
didn't you?
Saturday morning. No, you could just turn up.
Right.
But there was obviously a strict closing time for that.
Yeah.
So they had registration open on the Friday before, so the day before.
Yeah.
It was open 12 noon till 8 p.m. So
That's
very generous time
Yeah,
slot.
yeah.
And
yeah.
it was at a running shop in Cardiff.
That's bad. That's bad. It's
Dangerous,
clever,
dangerous.
but bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't make the Friday, you could register at the finish location just before the race started. And I
Yeah.
say that sounds weird, finish location, but it's because most runners were bussed from the finish to the start. You didn't have to do that, that was optional, but most runners did that.
Mm.
And that's why they gave the registration option there as well. So technically it sounds weird, but you couldn't register at the start of the race.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it all makes sense in the end. But most people would have registered on the
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, and that was straightforward. But I think there was whisper, because we've got our kit with us. It's in a shop. It's on the outskirts of Cardiff. Parking, not too bad, to be honest. I think if you went in rush hour, it'd be a bit of a pain in the backside. But in the day, we got there about 2 o'clock, so it'd been open. But on the way down, I think there was a few whispers on social media. Do we need to show them the kit? Do we not need to show them the kit? Are we showing them? Or we didn't get. We got it in the car, but we rocked up and we'd actually managed to get a space outside, hadn't we? So we were just like, oh, let's just wander in. If they want the kit, we'll just grab it out of the boot. If not, so we stroll in. I think, did you ask one of the chaps behind the counter? And just said,
you did, as
did
you
I?
walked in. Yeah.
Can't remember.
You asked
So
one of the guys
stressful,
behind the counter, and he said he wasn't sure because he wasn't part of the registration team,
No.
but he said that he hadn't seen anyone coming in carrying kit, so he didn't think we did need it.
Yep. Yeah.
So we carried on through to the back of the shop where you registered.
Yeah.
And no one asked us for it.
Just give your name and got your bibs.
It's very simple. You just collected your bib.
Yeah. And it was.
They checked your emergency contact information.
Yep.
That was it. Very quick and simple.
Quick and simple. That's all you need. Got the bibs. The bibs are the ones we like.
Oh, they're hole punched.
With the holes in. Because we use those. What do they call those? Clippy.
Bib clips.
Who?
Bib clips.
Bib clips. Which it's a brilliant idea. If you've not seen them, they are just like because they don't put holes in your clothes. It's just like a 2-part and it clips on.
But it does have to have a hole in the bib.
Brilliant idea. Try getting them on. No, I'll rephrase that. I can get them on because it doesn't bother me if they're a bit skew-if or anything like that. Someone else, you have a little bit. We always have a little bit of a little bit of an issue with them,
don't we? Getting a bit
don't
sidetracked here, but yeah, talking about bib clips.
Yeah.
I hate actually the mission of getting them on because I put them on my leggings, and obviously leggings are tight to your leg.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard because you have to put the back side of the clip on the inside of your leggings.
And you said the crumple stuff up there.
And it all trying to get your hand down there and put it in the right position and then clip each corner on. It's quite tricky when you've got tight leggings.
It can be quite
And I have to have it straight on my leg. So it's a bit of a mission, which is why I really like being able to register the day before the race, because then I can faff about putting the bib on in the evening and not first thing in the morning when it's an early start.
It's only 48 minutes this time, I think. But anyway, got diverted.
But it helps to have the holes because you need the hole in the bib.
Try putting
to
a
use
hole.
the bib clips.
Yeah, try putting a hole in them when you haven't got the.
A hole punch.
It's an interesting paper. You cannot
At
get
one
holes
point,
in.
we had a spare mini hole punch in the glove box of the car.
That's how sad we are.
We've lost it, but we've lost it.
Yeah. No, I think it's been moved anyway. Right, so you register. You're in the shop. They've got you in the shop. They want you to buy stuff as well, don't they? I was good.
I mean, you did try on a pair of trainers that you didn't need.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there with trainers you don't need. But yeah, it's not. Maybe they come. But I was a good boy. I did not do it. So anyway, we registered. Job's a good one.
Then we came here and registered checked in for our accommodation.
Yeah, checked in here. All good.
Had a chilled night.
Yeah, early start.
Very
Early start. I don't necessarily mind the early starts, but it is a bit. We had to be. Luckily, we were only 15 minutes away from where we had to meet them, but you're still at the
coach left. So the finish was Ogmore by Sea, and the coach departed Ogmore by Sea at 6:30 to take us to the race start.
So you needed to. I like to get there early. It was 5:15.
We wanted to get there for a decent time because we knew the car park was going to be busy, and we wanted to get a space as close as possible to the hall. Because this was a difference from doing it this year to 2 years ago. This year they've moved the finish to a hall in Ogmore by Sea town, sort of. Whereas 2 years ago it was just on the edge of the car park, so on the coast path basically, so right by the car park. But this meant the change yesterday meant that you had to walk from the car park it was a 10-15 minute walk to the hall.
Yeah, wow.
We made it 15
It was
minutes
a 10
because we missed an arrow and went too far down the coast path before we turned to go up to where the hall was.
I love this royal we.
Well, neither of us saw it.
We made the classic error of following somebody. We thought this person knew where they were going. Don't know why. We just saw somebody in front of us and assumed.
Someone in front of you is walking with, just with determination and like looking like they're on a mission. You just assume they know where they're going. Yeah, we both missed what was actually an arrow telling us to turn.
Right by the car park.
No, it wasn't right by the car park.
Because it walked up the side. We didn't walk up the side. But then them lads, not only us, but we had lads following
that did the same as us. Yeah.
Lesson learned. This following people, you may hear us talk about that again throughout this. So don't follow people. So anyway,
we wanted to get there early to get a space as near the correct end of the car park to make you closer to the hall. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons we got there really early.
Yeah.
So we got there probably half an hour earlier than we needed to.
I have to pay for parking.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that disaster. Yeah.
Was it a disaster?
Paul paid for parking, put the ticket in the
£8.
on the dashboard, and
Yeah.
then got out of the car, and it blew out.
Followed me.
It blew out and disappeared. So lost the parking ticket.
Well, no way I was going back up there and paying another £8.
So we'll see if we get a ticket.
No. Hey, I know me parking. I know me rights. I put a little note in there. Said, look, I have paid. No problem.
Well, you can prove you paid because it's on card, isn't it? But
Yeah. That little
anyway,
note.
So that was the first issue. We lost the parking ticket first. Then we got lost walking to the hall. So it wasn't going well. But anyway, we found the hall.
We did found the hall, which
Found the
was
hall.
good.
There was toilets there. Not a lot of toilets, but we were lucky because we were there so early. There was only a couple of people in front of us in the queue. By the time we came out the toilet, the queue was.
There was, and
bad.
it's one of those things, isn't it? It's all runners. They all want to go to the toilet 15 times in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'll go now, and then I'll come out the toilet,
go again immediately.
say hello to somebody, and then go, I need the toilet again, and be gone again. Not that I'm talking from anybody from experience.
I have to do nervous wheeze.
Nervous wheeze, yeah, it's like every 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm all right until I get running, and then I'll get
And then you annoy me because you want to stop every few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got there, and toilet break. We had a drop bag. You're allowed a drop bag, purely.
Yeah, it's not the normal kind of drop bag because it's not a drop bag that you're able to access during the race. The reason they did it is because there was the walk from the car park to the hall, and it was very chilly first thing in the morning. I mean, it was like.
It was windy.
Was it? We got there about 5:30, didn't we?
Yeah, still dark.
So the sun was only just starting to come up, and it was really cold. So you needed a jacket just to do that walk to the hall, didn't you?
Yeah.
But then obviously you don't want to carry that jacket with you for the whole run, so you could leave it there in a little bag. They specified only a very small bag.
Yeah.
And then collect it after you finised and put it back on to walk back to the car if you needed it.
Yeah.
So that was quite a nice.
Yeah, that worked well.
So yeah, I used that facility. You didn't, did you?
No. And then the coaches. Well, what we did then is follow 150 people
we followed the
to the
crowd
wrong
who all
bus
walked
stop.
to the wrong bus stop.
Yeah.
And then somebody pointed out that it was actually further down the road in the other direction.
Where, funny enough, there was 2 coaches parked.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Nobody had spotted.
No, because obviously they do blend in. So we followed that down, and then Aimee has this thing about getting on coaches. You have to be seated where?
I like to be at the front.
Right at the front.
If possible.
Right at the front.
There's a method in my madness, and it links back to the toilet situation. If you're at the front of the bus, you get off first, so that means you're at the front of the queue, because everybody knows any runners on a bus going to somewhere to start a run, they will all get off and go straight to the toilet.
Yeah, but
that's what happened.
sitting next to the driver is a bit close when he actually tells you to sit behind him.
We were sat right behind.
You were, yeah.
But it worked because we were at the front.
We
of the
was.
toilet. That made it sound like we went for a wee every couple of minutes. That's not what I'm saying. The bus journey was about 40 to 45 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we went to the toilet by the car park at the hall.
Yeah.
And then again when we got off the bus like 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
At the pier. So that's where the bus took us. Penarth Pier, which is where the race starts. Really lovely location.
Yep.
But God, was it cold on that pier?
It was cold because I think when we first started, a few years ago, everybody was on the pier, hanging around. But this time, everybody was inside.
Everybody crowded inside the hall at the pier because it was just too cold in that wind.
It was purely the wind that was the issue. Because obviously you're on a pier, you're on the sea, aren't you? It was hot, and I was like, right, I'm gonna be bold, start cold, unlike you, who's be red hot when you start, and then 2 mile in have to derobe. But yeah, so anyway, we was all in there. It's an 8 o'clock start. He comes in.
We got there about half seven, didn't we?
Yeah. Got the toilet stops done. He gets everybody outside onto the pier. You're all shaking, shivering.
You had to go all the way down to the end of the pier.
Yeah.
Then you did a little briefing.
Which
was a very valuable briefing, actually.
It was for you, but then you did ignore him.
No, I didn't ignore him. I did exactly what he said. He said, I will come on to this in a minute, but one of the key things he said, and it was a good job I was listening, he was explaining a few points on the course where you could possibly lose your way a little bit. And he said, if you come across a railway track, if the footpath leads you to a railway track that goes across the railway track, do not cross that railway track because you've gone wrong. And I just remembered him saying that, and it was a good job I did.
Yes, because that will come to light later. There you go, karma. Anyway, so come 8 o'clock, he's there with his foghorn doofer, giving it all out, giving you the lowdown. I was shaking because I was really cold, but you know, started off cold. Within 2 minutes, warm, red hot, well into it, going wow. So all went, we're out, aren't we?
Yeah, you run the length of the pier, and then you turn left, and you run along the path out of the town of Penarth, and then up.
And then it
into
goes.
The coastal path.
Yeah, and the race is, I think they class it as relatively flat for the first half, and then it gets hilly on the second half. When I say relatively flat, it's, I think...
Well, it's the last third, really. The first 20 miles are
flat.
They're not flat, but it's not significant elevation compared to a lot of ultras.
No.
But the last 10 miles are where most of the hills are.
Yeah, and you've got, how many checkpoints?
5?
5 checkpoints. You've got a little bit in Barry Island where it kind of, it's almost like a heart shape, isn't it? But I think what you could do if you want, you could cheat. So what they've done, they put these little like hole punch things, and you had to go up to the one, get your thing punched.
Yeah, I think they called them clip points, didn't they?
Yeah, and then you had to go to...
It made sure that you ran the whole length of Barry Island around it rather than cutting across.
Because you could cut off.
Because you could easily
a fair bit.
Just cut that off. That's standard. They did that 2 years ago as well.
Yeah. So you've got that, because we were going to tell everybody about it first before we went on to our start. So you've got that. Checkpoints, you've got your standard. To be fair, you've got your water, your electrolytes. Electrolytes are amazing things, aren't they? You've got your electrolytes.
You're finally learning.
Yeah. You've got your electrolytes, food, some sandwiches, some chocolate. You've got the standard,
very
standard stuff.
Very helpful volunteers that would help you fill your bottles up.
Yeah, fair few people around cheering you on.
Yeah.
Come to the end, you think you're at the end, and then you have to do a right turn up a hill. Finished. Job's a good one. Get your medal. Get a drink. Bugger off home. That's what you should do. So, how did it go for us? Well, let's put it this way. It was a race of 2 halves, like the course was. We started together. And
it started out really well.
Which was nice, but we didn't finish together.
No, we didn't.
No. Someone left somebody on the course. Still gets me here. Right, so we set off, didn't we? Together.
At a blistering pace for us.
Together. Yeah, somebody decided she wanted to go off at warp speed for us, really.
Felt good.
Yeah.
And you did initially.
Yeah, until you wore me out. So we set off. The first checkpoint was about 5 mile in.
Yeah.
5 mile in.
It was classed as Barry, but it wasn't in like Barry Centre.
We haven't worked it out yet, but we think Barry is like the place,
the
and Barry
town of
Island's just
Barry,
like the promenade and stuff. Which I don't know, but you come into like just a normal residentially businessy
Well,
place.
the first checkpoint was kind of in almost like an industrial area, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we got there. I kind of base a good pace for us, for me. This is what I thought. We'd got organised. I always set my watch up for 5 miles. So as long as I'm getting that 5 miles done in an hour, I think I'm doing all right. I'm happy with that because I use that maths in my head because it's easy. 5. I need to be 5 times table for a start.
That's stuck in your head from doing Endure 24.
From doing loops.
It's loop races because
yeah.
I think you've worked out when we did it the very first time we did Endure 24, you went in obsessed with doing 100 miles.
Yes, I did.
Unrealistically. It's true.
That's harsh.
It's true.
A lot of harshness today.
You went in wanting to do 100 miles, so you'd worked out that if you could do 5 miles every hour, that would take 20 hours to do the 100 miles and give you 4 hours leeway for using checkpoints and toilets and stuff. That's how you work that out.
Yeah, and
that motto has stuck with you.
Yeah.
And every ultra that we've done since.
I work well with 5 miles. So the first 5 miles in an hour. So the first hour we done about 6.5.
6.5, yeah.
My poor legs. They were struggling to keep up, I'll be honest. But at that point, I weren't feeling too bad. You were feeling alright.
To be going well.
Yeah, and then...
We were cheerful still and we were talking.
Yeah. And then when you get to that first checkpoint, you're then onto the road. There's a road section, isn't there? which is the bit that goes into Barry.
Yeah.
And roads for me.
You don't like tarmac, do you?
No, I don't. It's a combination of tarmac and flat. Obviously, that's no, I don't. I'm not a fan of it, but it's part and
I was
parcel.
saying it was all tarmac. It wasn't flat.
No, but when I say flat, it's a flat surface, isn't it?
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'm a bit.
It's level terrain, not rocky or.
Yeah, I like a bit of uneven.
I get what you mean.
Which allows my ankle to move around. It's the vein of my life. So yeah, we did that.
Yeah, you ran through some residential areas on
Yeah.
that section, and there was one section where it got a bit confusing with the route, didn't it? We were running along this road. You'd come up this hill.
Yeah.
And then our watches, because we'd got the GPX file, and we'd made sure we'd got the latest GPX file as well, because they had said on the Facebook page that they'd just updated it like the day or two before. So we made sure we'd got the current one.
Yeah.
We came up this hill and we turned left onto this road, residential area, and the watches, both of our watches, were telling us to go straight on.
Just go straight on, yeah.
But the yellow run, walk, crawl arrows were saying turn left.
Yeah, they put quite a lot of
So we
arrows.
sort of hesitated at the top of this road, thinking, do we go down there or have we got to go down that hill? Because it was down a hill where it was the arrow was pointing. But then we sort of looked, and you could see at the bottom of the hill there was another yellow arrow saying go right. So we were supposed to go down and then round to the right.
It was like a crescent.
So we decided, well, we should really follow the arrows.
Yeah.
So we did, because obviously they would have only have put the arrows out either that morning or the night before. So that's the most current, you would think. So yeah, we followed the arrows, and it took you down along that road a bit and then back up a hill onto the road that we were on before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're not quite sure what purpose, unless it was to make the mileage up, I don't know. It seemed a bit of a strange
even though the mileage was over.
diversion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just running around housing roads.
And that was, to be fair, that bit I didn't mind because you did come into, there were some steep hills.
There were definitely hills.
And one good thing that we found, like our fitness levels obviously improved because the first time we did that, in our head, we walked those and thought, let's eat.
Yeah.
That was our excuse for not running them. We need to eat.
We'll eat on the
So
hills.
we'll eat and walk up them. But this time,
we ran them.
we said before we want to try and run because the elevation that was advertised isn't that bad for what we're used to.
No.
So for us, we were kind of saying, you know what, we could probably run.
Be able to run them.
We should be able to run them all. So that bit, yeah, weren't going too bad. I was getting the food in. Obviously, I have a few issues sometimes with food. Every time with food. Every time with food.
Nearly every
more.
race, yeah.
Yeah. But I was loaded up. I'd got me gels, I'd got me waffles, me bars, me tailwind, electrolytes, not in the water. I'd got electrolyte sachets on me. I was like a bloody shop. I was like a supermarket. Rattling. Yeah, I'd got everything on me. So we was getting the food in.
Except painkillers.
I was getting the food in. The painkillers were in here.
Yes, here in the railway carriage.
I knew I brought them, just didn't have them on me. So it was going relatively well. But then, how can I put it without trying to make an excuse? I weren't feeling as good as I should have felt, really. I felt like my legs were starting to give me a bit of jib before they should. But
was this before or after we went through Park Run?
Oh no, this would have been, so coming up to Park Run.
Because that was quite a cool part of the race. We enjoyed that bit, didn't we?
Right, so coming up to Park Run, I had a different issue.
Yes, you needed the toilet, didn't you?
I did need the toilet. I did need the proper toilet. I was, I think with me, because I had breakfast this time as well, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, which was a mistake.
No, it wasn't. Because you did well. You were running well.
I had breakfast and then I was banging the calories in and then my stomach, it always happens right at the beginning and I'm alright after. It decides, because it's been juddering around a little bit, we need to go and sit down and have a little moment on our own. So anyway, we get into the Barry Island part of the race and this is where you have to have your bibs stamped. So we come into the first one and then as we were coming down, I think I can remember saying there's toilets down there and they're like, yeah. And we asked that, there was a bloke next to us who'd obviously done it before and I said toilets. He said, oh yeah, that blue building. I was focused on that, I'm telling you now. That was where my legs decided, let's get there. But then we come down into Barry Island to the promenade, and they got the park run, which was
it just finished.
well, it was on its last legs, but there was loads of people around, weren't there?
It was pretty cool because I think it was the race director. He saw us coming because there was probably 5 or 6 of us running in, not quite a group, but all coming at around the same time to go through the promenade bit.
Yeah.
And he sort of shouted, because there was crowds there, wasn't he? He was like,
Yeah.
Ultra runners coming through!
Yes,
And they
yes,
all,
I am.
the crowds just parted so we could run through, and they were all going, come on, Ultras, doing amazing! It was really cool being cheered on by parkrun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a bit of a lift.
Yeah, really good feeling.
And then I could see it, the toilets. And they were a bit hidden around the side, and the bloke said, "Oh yeah, they're around there." And I think my brain and my body had started like working things out, and like, we're in a good place now. We can start relaxing. You know, the problem's going to be solved any minute now. I go through this door, stood there, and I was like, "Oh no, it's just urinals." I was like, no, because brain and bum had sort of got in their head.
Too much information.
It's a running problem. I got outside, there's a geezer with a visi vat. I said, "Mate, you got any proper toilets?" "Yeah, they're upstairs." I was like, straight up, got the problem sorted, back out, new lease of life.
And I was efficient during that time.
You did?
I make use of the time because I had taken my long sleeve layer off a bit further back, hadn't I?
Yeah.
But by this time the sun was properly out, wasn't it?
Oh, the long sleeve layer. Taking that off.
I used that stop to apply sun cream. So I had sun cream in my bag because I did not want to get the tan. Some people have got hilarious tan lines.
They have.
Because obviously you're just running along the coast in the same direction. People have burnt all down their left side.
It is down the one side.
I put cream on.
Yeah, we thought we were doing quite well. So Aimee obviously had to derobe the first. It was by the first checkpoint.
Yes, at checkpoint 1. So we've skipped back a bit now.
Yeah, we've had to skip because it just popped into my head. This was a funny part as well. So derobe, we were like, we practice this. We are like Formula 1. We can. What Aimee does is she'd take
Formula 1 pit stop.
Yes, yes. We're just like working as a team. For a change. So she takes the race pack off, hands it over to me, whips the layer off that she should have took off on the pier, which was slowing us down. I'm unzipping the bag, she passes it to me, I put it in the bag, zip it up, give her the bag back, we carry on.
All while moving.
All while running. And then, for some reason, Aimee has this mental block. Well, I actually don't know what you're doing. A lot of people, you're all going to know the Salomon race fair. Well, a lot of them are. You got your little bit of elastic, then you go like that, and you hook it through your clip, go like that, job done.
Yeah, sometimes it works perfectly first time, and sometimes I just cannot, for some reason, get the top one to clip in.
How can you find it
I'll
difficult?
go like that, I think it's in, and then it pings back out, and it keeps doing it, and it did that.
I'm just going to leave it undone.
I was like, I'm just going to run with it undone. And I did for a few minutes, and I thought, I'll try it again, and it went in first time.
I was up front at that point. I was like, I'll let her deal with that on her own. Let's just give her a few seconds, see whether she's got it sorted, then I'll go back and go, come on.
No,
job done.
I did do it myself.
So anyway, we had that little drama.
It wasn't a drama.
It was a drama at the time. She was getting a little bit aggy. You were getting a little bit angry. I could tell. That's why I just went, I'll leave you to it. So anyway, we did that. We got the toilet stopped, so we were in a good place then, weren't we?
Yeah, so we
derobed.
Left Barry Island.
Toilet been sorted.
I
Went
put
up
my
and
cream on. Then we went up out of Barry Island. I don't know what it's called. There's another pointy bit, still on Barry Island, but there's a pointy bit, and that's where we got our second clip on our bibs.
We were flying then, good to go. Then we went off, down. I don't know where it goes, but then it did go off road a bit, didn't it? And then we hit the steps. And this is where all the problems started.
There's a horrible set of steps. It's quite long and steep, and the steps are all different. They're those steps that aren't even, so
they're not the same.
Some are steeper than others, some are wider than others. So you can't just do a natural run down.
No.
You have to tread a bit carefully going down them.
And I'm normally good. I'm normally good on my feet like that. I normally am. And given credit, I got to the bottom, bar 4 steps. We got to the bottom, and then it was a little bit confusing because it kind of forked off.
There was a couple of paths.
Yeah.
And my watch was doing. I was in front of Paul, and my watch was doing this thing. It kept doing it all during the day. For a while, it would give me turn signals, and then it stopped doing it, and then it would start doing it again. And at that point, it wasn't giving me turn signals. So I was trying to, and sometimes it wasn't clear which direction I was supposed to be going in. So I was kind of trying to work out, is it that path or that path?
Yeah.
And there were some supporters there, weren't there, cheering people on. So they looked like they were on the path that perhaps we were going to have to go on, because I assumed that's why they were stood there.
Yeah.
So I started running towards them, and they went, no, it's that way. So we sort of had to turn and take the other path,
Yeah.
and you somehow fell.
I didn't
Well,
fall.
what did it fall?
What? I don't even know. I think, because I don't know what I did. I think, because the steps went like that, and I think I was going that way, and then they said something, and I think I just slipped off with my foot and just went down on my bad ankle. I don't know, I've got issues with my ankle. I won't go into it now, but I've sprained it and then shouldn't have done this and that. But it gives me a bit of jip every now and then. It gives me a little bit of jip every race. So, but I've learned to deal with it a bit. And I copped it. I must have just pulled it in the wrong. It just hurt. So then I thought, normally I can just run it off. Fine.
He didn't tell me that this had happened at this point, and I didn't see.
No, because I did go, oh.
He was behind me.
And you were like, you're alright. So yeah.
No, but I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah, no, it was just weird. It just caught me wrong. So then we run off. Obviously, she's doing Usain Bolt speed.
No.
So I run it off. And also, I think by this point, even though I was taking the calories in, I was thinking, oh man, why's my hamstrings starting to feel a bit iffy? Don't know. I have this every now and then with my hamstrings. They just get a bit I know how to solve it, but at that point in time, I knew how to solve it because my ankle was hurting. There's a lot of excuses here, isn't there?
Yes.
So now I had a little bit of a niggle on my foot. So anyway, go off, and I was just chilling on my own, just behind Aimee, just keeping myself to myself, not really talking. So just didn't have anything to say, really, did I? No. And then all she did was get going on at me. All right. No, what did you say? I think because I don't talk a lot, do I? No,
this is the thing. This is when I know something's wrong. Because normally he talks. And if he's having an issue, he goes very quiet.
I was just enjoying
When
it.
I say he goes quiet, nothing comes out of his mouth, but I can hear him more because he starts shuffling.
No, I don't start.
You don't pick your feet up. When you're tired, you start dragging your feet.
Not my feet.
Or your foot.
My foot. My foot. I just, for some reason, this leg goes.
He just gets, his footfall gets heavier and heavier and then more shuffly, and he stops talking, and that's when I know there's an issue.
It's like one of them old
So
horror
I
movies.
started doing the whole, you alright? And he was getting further and further back, and so I was having to slow down because I don't want to lose him. Like, are you alright? And then he said his ankle was hurting, so I said, take painkillers, not realising he didn't have any. Take painkillers. Then he said he didn't have any. And I said, well, I have, because I knew I'd got some in my first aid kit. Do you want painkillers? And he was not aggressive, but assertive. No, I'll do it when we get to the next checkpoint.
Because the checkpoint, I didn't want to slow us down, and I thought, well, the next checkpoint, we've got to get water.
Well, I thought, okay, fair enough, we'll carry on. But he was getting slower and slower.
No, my foot was just decided it needed a little bit of rest. That's why I was dragging it.
A couple more times, I was saying, do you want painkillers? If it's that bad, take the painkillers now. No, I'll wait till the next checkpoint. I was looking at my watch. The next checkpoint is over 3 miles away, so that's going to be over half an hour probably.
It would be more than half hour.
About the pace we were going. Just take them now. No, I want to wait.
Yeah,
and I even said to you at one point, didn't I? We're learning from these races. We're supposed to problem solve. If you've got a problem, deal with it. Don't just let it get worse.
What was
Take the painkillers. No. But he was getting slower and slower and stroppier and stroppier. So I just took the decision out of his hands, and we were running through this caravan park, weren't we? And he was dropping so far behind me, and it was frustrating for me because I was feeling really good and could have run a lot faster than I was. So I just stopped, took my backpack off, and then I had an issue because I couldn't find my first aid kit. I was trying to be quick. I tried to just get my hand in and find it, pull it out, and of course I was grabbing everything but the first aid kit because it was buried at the bottom. So then I just opened it fully and threw everything out of the first aid, out of the.
She threw it on me out the pram, as they say.
To find the first aid kit, found a strip of painkillers and handed it to him. Take these now.
Handed them to me.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that
Yes.
So what Aimee did, so she literally stopped, ripped her rucksack off, put it on the floor, launched everything out, got me the tablets, give me them.
That's what I just said.
That's how you said it. I was like, I think it's time to take the tablets.
You knew you needed to take
Yeah, no, you know what, I did. And
you should have taken them a lot earlier.
I probably should have, but I was thinking, I've dealt with the pain before, Okay, my leg was dragging along like some horror movie, and I was like some clubfoot bloody Quasimodo or something. But I was tootling along, so...
Yeah, but I didn't want a tootle.
No, and then she threw the painkillers at me. So I had the painkillers.
It's not quite that extreme.
And I was like, oh, you know what? I've got to make an executive decision here.
Oh, because you had said a few times to me before, earlier on, just go and finish without me.
Yeah, just nicely.
But you didn't. At that point, you said it aggressively.
No, there was a few times...
It was like, just go!
There's a few times when, you know, my brain and my mouth, the translation is very mixed up. So I think I'm saying something in my head, but then my mouth makes it come out very differently. So anyway, I'd give myself a little bit of a pep talk. This was all in a few seconds, and I was like, I know Aimee was going really well. I knew for an hour I'd got issues, and that was going to slow us down. So I just said, genuinely after, I know we're joking around, I just said, look, you've got to go. You've got to go. It's not a massive race. We're not going to be that far apart. Just go. Because I knew she was smashing it. And I was thinking, she's going to get a bloody good time on this. So I was just like, right, look, just leave me. I'll be all right on my own. Injured, hungry, starving. So anyway, so I let her go. And it was a sad moment. If people with kids... You know, it was like when your little one's going to school for the first time. They're all dressed up. There you go off to school. Go, you enjoy school. Bye. You wait for them to turn around and wave back. No! She was gone. I was like, bye. No, she didn't even look past. Didn't look back. Gone.
No, but you're making it sound like I just literally ran off.
You did?
No. We had a kiss and I said, good luck, keep going, love you, see you at the finish.
Yeah.
And ran off. And no, I didn't look back.
Ran off into the sunset. You didn't look back, you were gone. So I was there with my tablets. People going past, you alright, mate? Yeah. So she just left me on my own, like, you know what I mean? I broke the ankle, but, you know, I battled through, lads, battled through.
Broken your ankle.
Felt like it at the time when I'd just been left on my own. So I was there like, oh, I'm so sad. So then I had to sort of give my head a real good wobble and go, oh man, have the tablets, sort yourself out, get a grip, get running. So I took the tablets and walked off. No, I did. I took the tablets, got going, started moving, but then I was thinking in my head, right, why are my legs giving me jip? Because they shouldn't be giving me jip. How many miles was that in?
I left you, I think, at around 17.5 miles in. So
We
weren't halfway.
Weren't even 20 mile in. And I was
A
thinking...
bit over halfway.
Yeah, and I was thinking, my legs should not be giving... It was just my hamstrings giving me a bit of jip. The next section, it was that evil section, wasn't it?
Well, this is where my navigational issue came in.
Yeah.
The immediate issue for me, because where that happened was running through that caravan park.
That was it, yeah.
Holiday park thing. When you came out of that, there was a footpath that it looked like it went straight, and I hadn't realised when I stopped and took my hydration pack off to get the painkillers out, I must have knocked my watch and paused it without realising. Because I just carried on up this path, and then it kind of went round a corner, and then
So
there was
I
a
can't
railway
picture it.
track. Well, you wouldn't picture it because you didn't make the mistake.
No, because I went the right way.
Exactly. So I went straight on, round the corner, saw a railway track, and I could hear the race director saying, if you come to a railway track, don't cross it.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I've gone wrong here. Looked at my watch, going, hang on a minute. My watch said resume or finish. I was like, oh, God, it's on pause. So that's why I haven't got the map screen showing or any notifications, because I'd accidentally paused my watch.
And that's karma for leaving me.
Okay.
Just saying.
So I resumed the run and then navigated back to the map screen and realised I'd missed a turn. So as you came a bit after the caravan park, there was actually a fork in the path and I was supposed to have gone left. So I ran back down, and as I was running back down, there was two men running up towards me. They'd made the same mistake. So they were on the 18 miler, but I sort of was running towards them and I said, that's not the right way. And they were really confused. They were like, is it not? And they were looking at their watches. I said, it's definitely not the right way because the race director told us at the start to not cross the railway line. And they both looked a bit puzzled. I said, are you on the Ultra or the 18 miler? And they said the 18 miler. I said, did you not mention it on your briefing? And they said, no, that he did. He did say something about not crossing the railway track. I said, well, that's the railway track.
Yeah.
It's not that way. So went back. And then the watch confirmed we were back en route. So that was all good. So it was only a little diversion, but it was a mistake.
Then the next bit
But
was...
then you ended up on that. There was a really long concrete path. It was flat.
That was by the old tarmac
It went
plant.
past an old tarmac plant. So on the right, so if you look to the left, it was quite nice, but if you look to the right, it was not very scenic at all. It was a horrible industrial tarmac plant that's partially demolished.
Yeah.
It's not pretty to look at, is it?
No.
And you've got a big barbed wire security fence on this side, and then on the left, you've got a
It's the sea
defence wall.
Oh, it's concrete.
And you just run through. It's like running through, not a tunnel, but you're almost enclosed on both sides, aren't you? Really long path and just flat concrete for a long time. And I remember I was running along there thinking, Paul will hate this. Paul will be hating this. But I found that bit a little bit disheartening because I was doing okay, because I'm okay on that kind of terrain, aren't I? I can just motor on, and I was doing all right. But I started getting overtaken by people.
Yeah.
And for a minute I was confused because they were going past me so fast. Some of them were flying. But then I started thinking they must be the 18 milers. So this one guy came past me who looked quite approachable, and he wasn't going that fast, but he did overtake me. But I sort of said to him, "Can I just check, are you on the 18 mile race?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, thank goodness," because I'm just getting a bit worried because so many people are flying past me looking so fresh, and I'm not fresh at all. And he said, "Oh, are you doing the ultra?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, No, don't worry, we're 18 miles. We've only just started." I was like, "Oh, thank goodness."
I got used to people passing.
I think at that point I was just under 19 miles in, because the next checkpoint was at the end of that road. End of that concrete path was the next checkpoint, and that was officially at 19.1 miles.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible, that bit. I did...
I knew you'd take that. Oh, and I had a gel malfunction on that section as well. I tried to rip off the top of one of my gels, and it ripped off, but it somehow didn't rip off low enough, so it didn't actually make a hole in the packet. So I was like squeezing it, nothing was coming out.
Oh, they're all right when they cut open, but when they don't.
Sake. But luckily, when I got to that checkpoint, I did ask the lovely volunteers, "Don't suppose by any chance you've got a pair of scissors?" And they managed to find. One of them went to the car and he found a pair of scissors for me, bless him.
I would have slowed you
He
down.
was able to cut it off.
Slowed you down. So I did eventually drag my foot along to that checkpoint. I think whilst I was dragging my foot along there and being overtaken by everybody, I think an old lady walked past with her dog at one point. I was thinking, she ain't even in a bloody race and she's beating me. So anyway, I get to that checkpoint and it just suddenly clicked. I'm thinking, what? We'd done the Big Bear, hadn't we? Like a few weeks before. We'd done a 50k and we'd done really well on that.
Yeah.
And that was when I practiced my fueling and bits and bobs on that. Because I think I got to 30 odd mile. I know there's a bit more elevation in this thing, but in 5 hours 40 or something on the 50. So I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And then it kind of clicked because I got tailwind. Because I find calorie-wise, I think the drinks are quite useful. For one, convenience, aren't they? You know, gels are good enough, but by the time you've got them out, done that, got squirted it all over your bloody arms, and like you've done, you think you've got it, you're like,
it doesn't.
There's a little bit, and you're thinking, as soon as you go like that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? And the thing, it just slipped. I was thinking electrolytes, and I must say, I don't normally do them in races, but I have been doing them in races, and I've got my electrolytes with me. I use LMNT ones, little sachets, fantastic. So I sacked off one of the water bottles, filled it up, electrolytes, necked half of that straight off, put some more water in it, did my tailwind, necked a gel, wandered off sulking still. Got on to the next bit was...
I went wrong there as well.
Yeah, you decided you were going to go on the beach again for some bizarre reason when there's a big
So
gate saying this
I
way.
made the mistake of following the woman in front of me. She was confidently running. You came out of that checkpoint, it was a little car park, and it went off. There was like Pebble Beach to the left, and then there was a wall, but it had a tiny little gap in it with a gate, which you couldn't really see unless you were looking for it. And she carried on down towards the Pebble Beach and went onto the beach, or the stones.
Yeah.
So I just followed her and then started running on this Pebble Beach thinking, oh, this is horrible, because it was hideous to run on. But luckily there was a group of lads behind us on the race, and they'd gone the correct way, turned right, gone through this little gate in the wall.
Yeah.
They'd seen us go wrong, so they were like whistling and shouting. So then we stopped and turned, and they were going, you're going the wrong way. So
Yeah.
we turned round, ran back off the Pebble Beach. So yeah, twice I went wrong after I left you.
I didn't. I went off the, working it out.
Well, at that point,
Plainly obvious.
my watch didn't give me the notification to turn right. So, and I wasn't the only one, because that woman didn't turn either. So
I've got so many jokes, but I'm not going to go there. But there you go. Navigation.
I'm not renowned for my navigation
No,
skills,
you're
am
not.
I?
No, not at all. No, definitely not. Anyway, We get going.
Yeah. So
You're flying.
The path, you go through this wall and then it's a stony path, isn't it? Straight alongside this pebble beach for a bit. And then you turned right and then you were running around these fields. Around the edges of these
fields. It started getting nice for me in a way because I could see.
Trail.
You could see the hills coming. And like I said, I thought hills. Still giving my head a wobble. It was. I was starting to feel a bit better. I thought my legs are going a bit better. Started moving. And it is disheartening when you get people coming past you and you're like, oh man, what am I doing? I'm better than this. But it is part of it. Ups and downs, part of it. So anyway, I started forcing myself, because it is your head. Once you start walking, you're trying to get your head back into running. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because it can take over. And I was like, right, let's go. We're on the hills. Got on that grass bit, which was evil. I don't even know why they did it. It's almost like they went down the side of a field, but it was long grass. And I think it was originally a ploughed field, so it weren't no golf course. It was like, but you couldn't see it.
Lots of holes, but because there was squashed down long grass over the top of it. It was just a trodden path, wasn't it? Not like
but only by us lot. Nobody else had been down there.
It wasn't nice to run on that bit.
Yeah, and then I sort of started getting going. Once I got onto the hills, and I was getting my electrolytes in me, getting the food in, because I think I was grabbing some of the sweets and that at the aid stations, and then my legs started kicking in. Okay, there was a bit of pain there, but nothing. My ankle, it was what it was. And I got my rhythm back really and started.
You bounced back?
Yeah, once I bounced back. I started plodding along and then, it did start getting relatively hilly. And I did find, which I think it gets your confidence back a little bit as well, that you're not that useless. Running up some of the hills, there was, because look, we're all at different levels. There was quite a lot of people walking, and I was just.
It's common on ultras, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was just finding, you know what? Because we did say we want to try and run all the hills. So as soon as a hill come up, I started plodding on them, and they felt good. It felt good on the hills. It did feel good.
Yeah, I think that's one area where we can really see progress from our training.
Oh yeah,
I used to hate hills, and I wouldn't dream of running them, but now I think there's a technique to it, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've learned I'm better off doing it's very slow. I'm not fast on hills at all, but it's like almost like a tiptoeing motion. You lift your knees a little bit higher and more on your toes, but that's how I tend to try and go up hills. And I've learned it doesn't seem to hurt my legs as much as trying to power hike. I can't walk very fast up hills. I find, I don't know, it seems to hurt my legs even more.
I think you go into it because like you're saying, I almost look at it as you've almost like a kind of a weird way of doing high knees.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Not that exaggerated, but yeah.
Yeah, I find you're almost trying to be upright, I think. Because when you're power hiking, I tend to find you lean forward and you're almost pushing down on your legs. And I do think at that point, you are using so many muscle groups, whereas if you were just sort of running up...
It seems to burn my legs more trying to do the power hike.
Yeah, calves as well, yeah. Whereas this, I think there is a technique involved in it, and I think...
I've learnt as well, now, when you approach some of the hills, we could see them coming, couldn't you? And you'd be like, oh my God, I've got to get up there, and they look really daunting from a distance. But I've learnt now, at the bottom of it, just start running, do my little tiptoey thing. Yeah. And I don't keep looking up every few seconds, because that's what I used to do. I'd look up and see, oh my God, I've still got really far to go, and you just get really disheartened. I just keep... I'm not saying I'm looking down at my feet, but I'm not constantly looking at how far I am from the top. And I just keep going at the slow pace, but I'm still running. And I found now, this is how it felt yesterday, although they looked like horribly long, daunting hills, I was getting to the top way quicker than I thought I was going to. Like, I'd look up maybe once or twice, but then the second time I looked up, I'd like, I'm nearly at the top.
Yeah. Once you're on them, and it is, again, it's a head game, because I think when you start out and you start on the hills, even for a couple of years, they hurt you. They're horrible. They hurt you. They're hard. Your legs can't take it. You're out of breath. Yeah, but it's manageable. The more you do it, the more it's more manageable. Yes. You can cope with it.
Yes.
So I think you had a mental block in your head that your brain went, that's hard.
Hill must walk.
Default setting you tell yourself, you're going to be quicker walking a bit, and you might as well just walk up the hill and then run after. I think the fitter and the more you do, it's not always... We're not saying you can do all of them, because some if they're really technical.
There were some sections yesterday that I didn't run. But mainly when it was like steep steps rather than a slope.
But have a
or
go.
if it was
have a go.
really technical terrain.
Have a go with them. I'll tell you, the more you do it, the more they do become easier.
I ran way more yesterday than I think I ever have on a race or a route like that.
Well, I've ran more hills than I did on the flat. Yeah, so the second half, I think we both got into the swing of things really, didn't we?
Yeah, so after the field section...
Yeah.
Where was the Pebble Beach? I can't actually remember what stage of the race that was.
The Pebble Beach?
But there was a section of Pebble Beach that you were supposed to run across. That wasn't a mistake. I can't remember where that was.
That was
weird.
close.
It's weird how your brain does this, isn't it? It was only yesterday, but I can't remember where it was.
It was quite far in, and I think...
It was after the 18-miler, after the 18-milers had started, because I've seen someone's put footage on who was on the 18-mile race, and she's got a video of herself.
I want to say it's about 25...
running across that beach, so...
I want to say between 25...
Oh, so quite near the end.
22, I think so, because I can remember that, because I come up the steps the other side, and that's when I had not a funny turn, but I think I pulled my race pack too tight, and I felt like, because I think I used a lot of lung space, I don't know, I felt restricted on that, and I've got a funny feeling. I was like, whoa, because I knew I'd got quite far, and I thought, whoa, if I've got a problem, I ain't got that far to go. So I think it was the last third easy.
Yeah.
But that beach, it was horrible. It was horrible.
It's really big pebbles, not little
rocks,
stones.
round rocks.
Very uneven, like it's got break your ankle written all over it.
Yeah. And with
so
obviously
I
ankle.
didn't run that.
No, I don't think...
sort of did a tiptoe.
It was like playing hopscotch.
Tried to do a fast walk, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a run, and I didn't feel very stable. But yeah,
No.
luckily it's not very long, is it? You're not on it that long.
No.
But yeah, that wasn't pleasant, that bit. And then you had to go up the steps.
Yeah, there was quite a few steps.
I think that was before the 23.5 mile checkpoint. So checkpoint
by the
4.
By the lamppost, the lighthouse.
Yeah, where the lady was filling up water bottles with a hose pipe.
So the one by the lighthouse was, we went through... Oh, I did bad when you think it's only been like 24 hours.
I think it was before that checkpoint. It must have been before.
It was before, 100%, because after that one, so you went past the lighthouse. Oh, you know what, that's bad, isn't it?
Isn't it weird
It's
how
only
your
been
brain
it ain't been 36 hours.
forgets when it was.
Either way, it was on the course.
But yeah, so there was Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
No, you lost me.
Well, there was the section, you had the 23.5 mile checkpoint where there was a lady filling up water bottles with a hose pipe.
Oh, yeah. She said, do you want me to square you? I was like, you know what, I would have loved it, but getting drenched, that's got chafing written all over it. And I've had experience with that, and I didn't want to, no.
But I know from there, my head was telling me at that point, because in all the race information, they'd made it clear, and you could see it from the elevation profile on the GPX file as well. It was after the 23.5 mile checkpoint, so checkpoint 4, that's when it got hillier. So
then we knew we'd got a 10. See, I must have been in a good place then, because that I can remember looking, and I got 10 mile to go. So it must have been after that, because there was a few steps you had to go around the back by it, didn't you? Yeah. I think I was in a relatively good place then. Again, I was topped up on my electrolytes. I think I got my nutrition down. My legs had eased off because of probably electrolytes, and I weren't cramping. But I can remember thinking, once I tried to work out what screen I got with the countdown on, because you've got certain big things and then others you like, and it don't matter what distance you do, when you're a bit tired, trying to do the maths, even to work out, right, so I've got an hour left, and I've got 5 mile to do, how long's that going to take me? And your brain goes, 24.75499 hours. And you're like, what? It's really bad, but I can remember seeing like 10 mile and thinking, we do 10 mile, 10 mile training, it's an hour and a half or something, you know what I mean? That's all I've got left. I'm thinking, I should be able to motor this. And I think that, it's weird when you're thinking, I've only got 10 mile left, that you're thinking, I'm home dry. Shows how far you've come, because whereas years ago, you'd be like, oh man, we've got a mile left. Yes, let's get it done. And it's like 10 mile. I'm like, right, sweet, not a problem. I can do that. And it was the last bit. I did enjoy the last bit.
There were some nice sections, wasn't there? There was the bit past the lighthouse was quite cool.
And it was busy. There was loads of people cheering.
There was because it was such a beautiful day, wasn't it? There was families out for walks and stuff, and supporters as well who were actually supporting runners, but they were all lovely, like really cheering you on, and so that was nice. There were some horrible technical bits in that last section, weren't there?
Well, that real sneak down.
So there was a few bits that really reminded me of the Ark, actually.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a very similar coastal path where you like climb down into like a bay and then you cross like a little, it's not an estuary, that's the wrong word, but a little stream that leads out to the sea.
I was going to say, estuary and
Estuary
stream
is a
are
massive,
very,
yeah.
very very different.
You cross the little bridge and then you climb up, back up onto the cliff path.
That was where you could see... No, it weren't. Was that the way you could... The road went up the side and then it looked really steep? No, or was that the one...
No, that was the checkpoint 4.5.
The one that was the little bit before the end?
Yeah, they didn't class it as a proper checkpoint, but I don't really know why, because it wasn't any different to the other checkpoints. I think they described it as just being a water station, but there was actually food there. Because they made me laugh on that checkpoint, because that's where they'd got the Tupperware containers with pieces of chocolate. They'd like broken up some big bars of Cadbury's or whatever chocolate bar it was, and put it in this Tupperware tub, but it had just completely melted. It was just like a pool of chocolate.
Yeah, but it was like that at the Lighthouse one, I thought. Because I can remember seeing the Jaffa cakes and I was like...
I'll be honest.
If I pick one of them Jaffa cakes up, I'm picking them all because they're stuck.
I didn't really look properly at the food at that particular checkpoint. I just spotted at the end fig rolls.
Yeah.
Because I like fig rolls. I just grabbed one of those and I didn't really look what else was there. I just grabbed and went. The lady with the hose filled my water bottle up, but I didn't really study the food at that one. But I did notice that at 4.5, which was just supposed to be a water station, they did have melted chocolate.
It would have been hard though,
and
because
melted
it was...
Jaffa cakes.
Yeah,
it was just stuck together.
It was art.
The sun was just blazing on them and they didn't have any shade, did they? Bless them.
No, they couldn't. Fair play, you know what?
The other thing I liked about there as well, there was a lot of families there, but there was a little girl, I think you said she got you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a little girl and she was like trying to high five every runner that went past, and bless her, she high fived me and then she went, "You're doing really well, there's only 2 big hills to go."
Yeah.
Which I thought was sweet because there was more than that.
She was positive.
There was 2 really big hills, but there was other hills. It wasn't just the 2 climbs, but from that car park there was a horrible climb.
Yeah,
which
and again,
I ran.
yeah,
So
that.
proud I ran it slowly.
Ran
I
that.
ran it.
And then we knew we were coming up to the end.
And then it started to look a bit familiar, didn't it? And
yeah, because you're coming.
We weren't far from Ogmore.
Back to where you could almost see the beach, but the terrain changed, didn't it? It went to grass and that, and it was
it was on an uneven camber.
It's on a camber, and it's horrible. I find that really. It's almost like my feet want to come out the side of my shoes.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm almost trying to run up.
Yeah.
To come down, and then went down, and then I could see the wall where we'd walked in the morning, half a mile the wrong direction.
I'd spotted further back than that. I'd spotted the hall because in the distance they'd put all the remote flags up, and they'd assembled the finish line arch and everything, and I could see that from way off, and I could hear the cow bells as well. I saw that in the distance and I was like, "Oh, that's the finish." I was actually talking to myself going, "You can see the finish, you've got this." And I was just running along that wall thinking, in a minute I've got to turn right, and then oh my god, there's that hill.
See, I must admit I didn't realise really until the end that we were going to have to run up the hill, because a woman said to me at that 4.5, you finish at a calf. 4.5. You finish at a calf, because I said it's not on the beach, is it now? And she said no, you finish at the calf. And for some reason I was thinking, well, I can't remember seeing a bloody calf. But there's a calf in the hall line. Yeah. So in my head I was just thinking, oh, we're just going to run down there. And I thought what we'd probably do is cut across the field and go up a gradual. No. I think they
turned by the end of this wall.
Yeah.
And it was literally up.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of the Ark finish, but it's not quite.
It was a mini one,
it's not
very
quite
mini.
as bad as the Ark, but it's not as long as the Ark, but it's a climb.
Yeah.
It's one hell of a climb to that finish line.
I ran it all.
I ran most of it. It kind of was steep, then really steep, then it levelled off a little bit to the actual finish. I ran the first bit, then it went really steep. I did walk a little bit, and then you literally can see the finish line. I was like, I'm not walking across that finish line, so I started running again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. You could hear, obviously, there's lots of crowd there, and cowbells, and really good atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I stopped my watch when I crossed the line.
You got there first before me?
I did, yes. I had no idea what time I'd done. That was the problem I had, because my watch said I'd done it in 5:48, which I was gobsmacked by, because I thought I was into 6. I hadn't been looking at my time. I'd just been concentrating on not getting lost and just motoring on. I wasn't even thinking about time. So when I saw I'd done under 6, potentially, I was just over the moon. I was like, oh my god, because that would have blown my target out of the water. And I wanted to beat the 7:06 that we did 2 years ago, but in my head I was going to be 6 hours and something. I was thinking to get under 6 would have just been amazing, but I didn't know whether I had, because I wasn't sure how long my watch was paused for. So it could have been paused for a minute, it could have been paused for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't know, so I needed to know what my official chip time was to know whether I'd got under the 6 hours, so I didn't have a clue. So then I had this dilemma because I'd crossed the line, but to go and get your medal was a little bit odd, but you didn't get your medal at the finish line. You had to carry on up the hill and then cross the road and then go into the hall, and that's where they were giving out the medals, and they'd got a big wall drop thing for you to have your photo taken.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
race walk.
It was good.
Walk crawl logo, and it was a nice place to go and get your medals, but it was a bit further on from the finish line. And I was thinking, do I trek back up there, get my medal, and then come back down to try and see you finish? But I thought, sod's law if I do that, because I had no idea how far behind me he was. He could have been 5 minutes, he could have been an hour. I had no idea. So I thought, I don't want to go up there and get my medal and then miss him finishing. So I opted to wait by the finish.
You left me once in that race. I'm surprised you
No,
didn't,
I wanted to see you finish.
Yeah,
so
well, you would have seen me finish if
waited.
you'd have stayed with me.
I did see you finish.
Yeah, I weren't
He really
that.
surprised me, actually. I saw him coming up the hill and he was only
Running.
17 minutes behind me.
16.
17.
It was about 16.
17.
Was it full on 17?
I believe so, yes.
You probably know by the millisecond.
No, I don't.
No. But yeah, 17 minutes then, or 16, one or the other. It was around 15 minutes. We rounded off really, it'd be probably easier. But yeah, I come back from the death.
You did really well. You did. The way you were when I left you, I knew you were going to finish, but I didn't know how much you were going to have slowed down. The thing is, I know that you can bounce back. I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, if he's bounced back, he could have really closed the gap and he might be just behind me. That was possible. When you're in really good shape, you are definitely
go
faster,
quick.
but you're faster on hills than I am.
Yeah.
So he could have easily closed the gap even more if he was doing really well.
I could see you up front, but I wanted you to take the glory.
Of course you did, darling. So then we walked up to the hall.
Got the medals,
Get our medals
sorted. Yeah, we've got the medals. And then obviously Aimee, we've got
them here.
medal. It makes a fantastic coaster.
I'm not going to use it as a coaster.
They're good, they're like
slate.
a coaster.
And I like them because they've got a year on the medal.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The ribbons are plain, which I don't normally like.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it's got the year.
Got the year on it.
I don't like it when races use the same medal and ribbon year on year.
No. 2025. 2025? Oh, that'd been on 50 this year.
Really?
On my birthday in April.
What a surprise.
Doing ultras at 50. Don't put a time limit on it or age limit. Right. So, we've done that, got our medals. Then
Went and had a drink in the calf.
had a drink in the
It's
cafe.
the first time I've ever seen you decline cake.
Oh, you know what?
And I was buying as well and he declined.
No.
Shock.
People who know me know I like the odd cake, but I just needed fluid that was not electrolytes or bloody tailwind. And they didn't have a massive selection in there. So I think I just saw there was just some cold drinks. I just
fruity, fizzy can of something.
I can remember looking at the cakes thinking, have a cake. I was just thinking, nah. My head was going, you having them cakes? I can tell you now, lad, you are going to be bringing it back up. Any more sugar that goes in your stomach, we don't want it.
Yeah, you did say you felt a bit sick.
Oh, yeah. So we did that, went out, back out, met up with a couple of friends. Got to give them a shout out, to be fair. It was our first ultra.
Yeah.
And they did really well.
They smashed it, both of them. Lee and Debbie Matthews.
Yeah, they did it really good. Obviously, I let Lee beat me because I'd given him a bit of confidence. Not.
They are
well done.
Younger than us. Quite a lot younger than us.
Yeah. Oh, don't make any difference. But they did. They did do it. Yeah. They had some ups and downs in it, but battled through. So massive shout out to them too for giving it a go and completing. So then Aimee obviously wanted to find out where...
Yeah,
wanted to find out your time, didn't you?
I wanted to know. All I wanted to know was whether I got under 6 hours. That's all I wanted to know. Because I couldn't rely on my watch time. So I went and asked the race director...
You did?
Where we collected the medals. He was sat with his laptop. I went and asked him, are the live results available yet online, or is there any way I can find them? And he just pushed this piece of paper out, which had a QR code on it. Great idea.
Have a look.
All race directors should do that. So I was able to just scan it, and Debbie was with me. There was no signal, was there, in the hall?
No.
So it scanned, it wouldn't open the link properly, so we had to go back out to get it to load. And then I was able to search my name, and my result popped up, and I was ecstatic because I had smashed 6 hours. I did 5:51, which I was so happy with. That means my watch was only on pause for, I think it was just over 2 minutes. or just under 2 minutes, I can't remember exactly, but wasn't long. So 5:51 was my chip time, which I was absolutely thrilled with.
Yeah.
That means I took off 1 hour 15 minutes from my time in 2023. So that's really good. I was pleased with that. But I was looking at the result on my phone and I was showing Debbie and I said, am I reading this right? And she looked and she said, well, that's what it looks like. Perhaps we should go and check. Because I was just in absolute disbelief, but it looked like I was second female, which I just was not expecting at all. So I actually went back in. And at this point, Paul was like, what was going on?
Well, no, I had to come up because before that, I think we were going off to get ice creams. And so I'd wandered off.
Yes, we were.
And then turned round, I was like,
why has she gone back in?
what are they doing? Back up, bloody hell, come on. Yeah, and then somebody here.
I asked, and they looked a bit puzzled at first, and then they were like, what was your bib number? So I told them, and then they looked on the laptop, and they said, yeah, you were. Second female.
Second female.
So, yeah, I got a prize.
Second female. Got a prize. She's got a prize.
She's got a prize.
A
Which
money
was,
prize, man.
a monetary voucher to be used in the running shop where we'd registered the day before. So that was unexpected.
See, all my coaching is coming in well.
Your coaching.
I
think we need to credit Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Corsier,
yeah.
not you.
I know he's our proper coach, but what he does, he lays the foundations.
Which you...
And then what I do, I help pass those foundations onto you and help you achieve your goals.
Yeah, I follow the training plan. You don't.
Oh, that's a low
Not
blow.
to the letter, you don't.
Yeah, but...
You take a more flexible approach to your training.
See, I think I should be a manager. No,
right.
you're giggling. You're giggling.
I don't need a manager.
Yeah, you do. Because I'll get you on the big races. Because I think, look, obviously you're getting these first, seconds, thirds, you're in the top tens.
It's very small races.
It's irrelevant. You're getting good top. No, you can't. Don't dish yourself. You're getting some good results. You stick with me, I'll get you on the big races. But we've got to obviously talk about the old Bunsen burner. You know, the red is coming in. If I'm going to get you in these big races competing with the likes of Courtney DeWalter and that, you know what I mean? It's got to be something there for me. Anyway, we discussed this off record.
You lost your mind.
You've got to go for these things. Look how easy the podcasts have been.
Yeah, they're not easy at all.
No, because it's 11 o'clock at night and I am normally asleep. But we've just, do a podcast. I said it'd be fun. I'm still enjoying it, but right, let's get back to business. So Aimee did really, really well. Really chuffed. Yeah, she got a cash prize. Second place female. Smashed off an hour and what was it off your
Hour
thing?
and 15 minutes.
Hour and 15. Whatever. I'll do
You
the
say
wrong.
what your time was?
Huh?
So you did it in 6:08.
Yeah, 58 minutes. 58 minutes. I wanted to do an hour off, 58 minutes.
That's still impressive.
Yeah, but I
taking
did say-
58 minutes off your previous year.
I did
your
say-
previous 2-year time.
But if you didn't mess around with them tablets, I would have got in. So where you got
Well,
to
if
look
we're
at
going to
it.
play that game, if you hadn't had that issue and slowed me down, I potentially could have been first.
You know what? Joking aside, yeah, I think you would have got it. Because what did the First Lady? 7 minutes, wasn't it?
6 minutes. I think
6
she beat me
minutes.
by,
Yeah. If you wouldn't have messed around with you taking your top off, chucking everything out your bag, getting lost
You
4
just
times.
taking painkillers straight away
Well,
instead of waiting an hour.
We keep going, what ifs. Right, but we've got to wrap it up now because I should have been in bed like hours ago. As you know, I'm a bit tired. So, moral of the story, to be honest, look, these ultras, obviously Aimee's had a real good one. I had yet again another not so good one. But with any of them, you go through ups, you go through downs, different problems. The key thing is, isn't it? It's problem solving.
Yeah.
It is problem solving. It's all well and good as sitting here going problem solving, but when you're in the thick of it, it is harder because your brain and, you know, I'm sat comfy now. I can go, I should have drank electrolytes, I should have done this, I should have done that. When your body's in a bit of pain and it's going, I think we should sit down and have a little stop, Paul. Why don't we just sit down on this little step here and have a little chat and just have a little rest? It's not easy to think straight,
No.
but don't get disheartened. You're going to go up and down a lot. And it is like Aimee said, if you've got an issue, try and solve it there and then. Unless you have that magic stone that I had in my shoe that I took out 6 or 7 times and then it went into the other shoe. I'm telling you now, I had a little stone, and I'm getting quickly sidetracked. I had a little stone And even a little stone in your shoe, everybody knows you try and move it around with your foot, don't you, to get it in a position where you can't.
I've learned if you've got a stone in your shoe, you need to straight away stop and get it out.
Yeah.
Don't leave it because that's just asking for a blister.
That's what I did. So I got this, it was only a little tiddler. So anyway, I've got the boa shoes, so they're really easy to take off. I got them off, didn't put my foot down, managed to get the shoe, shake it, get my hand inside it, get everything out, wipe my sock, put my shoe back on, walk off. Bloody stone's back in there. So I'm like, oh, how is this happening to me? I've got a broken foot.
Could it have been a different stone?
No, the same one. I just knew it was the same one. I could tell it was the bloody same one. So anyway, I carried on a bit longer. I was like, just get the bloody thing out your foot because it's doing your head in. So no, did it again, wiped it out, got rid of it all, ran off. I'm like, it's moved. It's moved into the other shoe. I'm telling you now, it was a magic stone that was just out to wind me up. And I think it was still in there. To be honest, I bet if you found my trainers, the bloody thing's still in there. But yeah, problem solving, get those stones out your shoe.
Try and get them out.
Yeah. But all in all, it is a learning curve in some races. It was hot, this one.
Yeah.
It was a hot race, so I should have banged up the electrolytes from the offset, really. But it just comes with trial and error, doesn't it? It really does.
We're always learning.
Yeah, you get some races that bang on, others. Aimee gets races all really bang on.
They don't always.
See, this is the way. I'm doing it on purpose, really, so I can tell everybody. So I'm showing you what not to do, and you're showing people what you should do. So it's working well, really. Working round. So I finished it. Not ideal, but...
You did still smash it, though.
Yeah.
Compared to our performance in 2023.
Yeah.
Considering the issues you had, you knocked a massive amount of time off.
Oh, yeah.
And that was our goal, ultimately.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We went into that wanting to do it faster than we did it 2 years ago, and we both did that.
That is true.
We both did that.
Yeah, we did. So, all in all, good race.
It's a very good race.
All in all, run, walk, crawl, nice setup.
Great. Yeah, they're great races.
Yeah.
Love them.
Like I said at the beginning.
Brilliant volunteers.
The volunteers.
Well organised.
Yeah, all the volunteers were chirpy.
Yeah.
And to be fair, even people running and that, it's the kind of nature of all us runners and that when you're in a race. You do sort of look after each other, innit? You see something, you're right, mate, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same in speed racing.
I suppose not in a marathon.
Like
You've
road
got
marathons and
see
stuff.
you,
I don't
mate.
think it's the same, but not that I've done a road marathon, so how would I know? But
ultra running, people do.
Ultra running, I think the community is just amazing.
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, like, just a silly little example, but you stopped to have a wee, didn't you, at one point? You went behind a bush, and I stopped to wait for you, and a woman was running past, and she sort of stopped and said, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, just waiting for me.
No, I'm fine, thank you, I'm just waiting for my partner.
Waiting for him again.
I'm always waiting for him. But yeah, people
it is a good
always want
community.
to help, but they'll always check you're okay. And if you run similar pace to someone for a while, you get chatting. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I love the ultra running community.
It was good.
It's
It was
great.
good. But it's a quick one. I was just thinking, whilst I was scratching my nose, I did have hay fever as well.
Oh, another excuse.
Wasn't it? I had hay fever.
You did, to be fair. Although actually, you didn't seem that bad yesterday. You were bad on Friday.
I was really bad on the race. You wouldn't know because you weren't with me.
I
Right.
was for over half of it.
Yeah, and then it kicked off. When we got on those grassy fields, it was really bad.
Oh,
Do you know when
okay.
you were off on your own?
Okay.
On that note. We love it, really. If you got to this far, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for listening or watching.
Yeah, and we will be back soon. Chatting about something, we ain't got a clue
I'm
yet.
not quite sure when this one's going to be launched.
We don't know when that one's going out, when the next one's coming in. We've got the Arc
We're
Take
doing
2.
an arc in, what, just over 2 weeks? Sorry, just under 2 weeks now.
Well, if this is going out in May, we would have done it, but we don't know. So from when we've done this, it's a couple of weeks.
From recording this, it's less than 2 weeks we're doing.
We're going to go and do the Arc
Take 2.
Take 2. Yeah. And my confidence is through the roof after this weekend. But right. Anyway, thank you again for listening and watching. Oh, you have to say all that stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah, give us a follow on social media. We are Solemate Runners on both Instagram and Facebook.
And it's the like and subscribe.
And like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on whatever podcast channel you are listening to us on.
Been through this with them so many times, just get too long. That's the one.
We don't know what we're doing.
We don't. That's why it's
Just having fun.
11:10.
And we're recording this for the second time.
Thank you
Thank you
and
very much.
bye.